Coach Ben here, bigbenchas.com. Guys, I got some new summer apparel out. We got the back bench tank, so take a look. Go to bigbenchas.com. Check out that new apparel. Right now we're running a deal 2 for 1. So buy 2 shirts, get 1 free. Great deal. You have your squat shirt, your bench shirt, and your deadlift shirt. Today I want to show you how you can set up your leg drive on the bench, and primarily why I choose to go feet out versus toes back. So just to recap for you, a couple different styles you can use bench pressing. You can do the feet back approach, where you have your feet tucked underneath you and you're on the balls of your feet and you're driving your heels down to get leg drive. Or you can go feet out, which I much prefer, and I'll tell you why. Where you're going to have your feet out, you're going to angle your toes out a bit, and you're just kind of pushing back on the bench. So I'll show you, this is the toes back setup. It's kind of a preference thing. Some people get more leg drive with the toes back. I much prefer the legs out myself. This would be the toes back version. So set up on the bench, get my good tuck here, and then I'd be getting those feet tucked underneath me, taking my time. And what I'm looking for here is a really nice tight setup. So I'm getting lots of strain here. There's a big stretch going on my quads. And then to get that leg drive, I'm driving my heels down. See how I lift a little bit? So that's pretty much the toes back version. You don't want to be tucked back so much that you're on the very tippy toes of your feet, because you're not stable in this position. You're not grounded at all. Plus it's hard to drive your heels back. You gotta at least be on the balls of your feet, so your toes have to be down so you can get that good leg drive. And some people go wider, so they keep their butt on their bench easier. Some people like to hug the bench with their thighs. But just a couple different feet positions for you. But that's toe back. And then this is what I do. This is the feet out version. Get your setup. Toes are angled out a bit, so I got a lot of space to drive from. And you can see I can drive really hard from this position. It's a little different than the toes back. Now, when I made the switch, I used to bench toes back. When I made the switch to feet out, it made the biggest difference in the world. Probably the biggest thing I ever did for my bench is going feet out. Now, especially when I'm handling all that weight with quick benching, I would shake a lot. I would be back and forth, kind of hard to stabilize the weight. Now, since switching the feet out, it's a much more stable position because your base of support is so much wider. So I got all this base of support here versus having my feet tucked in close, where I'm still kind of wobbling side to side because the weight's out here. This gives me a much larger base of support. I'm very sturdy to the bench. You can push me and I probably won't move. Not only that, but in terms of leg drive, actually getting leg drive and executing it, the toes back for me, I'm already very tight as it is in my hips, so I get a lot of strain here. It'd be hard for me to get in position. I cramp a lot. It'd be very hard for me to drive my heels down and get that leg drive. And a big problem I see with this type of leg drive is when people set up in that position, what they're doing here, they're driving their heels down only when they get to their chest. So they're coming down, they're not actually executing leg drive yet. They sink it into their chest, and then they drive the bar, or drive their heels down, drive the bar up. Now this puts you in a relaxed position here, and once you're relaxed and don't have control of the bar, it's very hard to regain control of the bar. So this is what I commonly see with a toe back bencher. They get their setup, they're tight here, and instead of executing leg drive from the start, like this, keeping the chest in a good position, they kind of stay relaxed. They come down, they kind of sink the bar a bit, and then they rely on that top to heave it off their chest. All well and good, but you never want to lose that control. I'm never sacrificing control. So with the feet out, you want to think you're not only pushing when you get to the chest, but you're pushing back off the bench. I tell people, push yourself back towards your handoff person. So I set up feet out like this. Toes out a little bit. And I'm driving hard back towards my handoff person. See, I'm getting that lift in the chest. And I'm maintaining that drive the whole time I'm benching. I'm still driving back really hard here. I got that control here. And boom, pop it right back. You see how with an empty bar, I have nothing pinning me down. So I'm moving back on the bench. That's how good my leg drive is here. But in terms of feet out, I just much prefer it. It gives you a bigger base of support, much more stable. People I've worked with say they feel a lot more stable easier to get that leg drive. You can think about pushing out on the floor, pushing yourself back off the bench. You're still in a tight setup. If your butt starts pushing up or popping up off the bench, very simple. All you need to do is find a position where you stick your feet out a little wider and your butt probably won't pop up anymore. But that's pretty much the gist of it. That's why I bench feet out versus toes back. A lot of people are very tight in this area as it is, have a very hard time setting up like that. Plus there's so many flaws with the toes back. People getting on their toes so much, just not executing the leg drive correctly in that position. It's a very simple way to execute leg drive, very easy to do. Most people can get to that position. So I recommend, if you're having trouble moving your bench and you're doing the toes back thing, try going out the feet out, give that little toe angle out, and just drive straight back on the bench and keep that drive the whole time you're pressing. I think you'll feel a great difference with that. I know that's the biggest thing I did for my bench, hands down, was getting that position with my feet and learning that leg drive. So give that a try, let me know what you think. Check out the website, bigbenchas.com, subscribe to us on YouTube, and I'll see you next time.